Hello, my vivacious, vigilant Virgos. Welcome, welcome. It is Sachi the Scorpio, and I am here to deliver your guided healing for the month of May. Please like, comment, and subscribe. The more energy that you send to me, the more energy that I can send to you. And thank you so much for all of your support on this channel, Virgo. I would like to remind you that the top 3 videos that get the most likes do get a twin flame bonus. So if it resonates, please hit that like button. So let's jump into it, okay? We had Sagittarius IC come out in reverse, okay? So this is telling me that you're having difficulty like understanding something, really seeing something, right? Sagittarius is very perception based. You know, Sagittarius rules are philosophies. You know, rules are perceptions based on, you know, where we live, where we've traveled, our cultural understanding, our academic stuff. Okay, there's like military grade helicopters right outside my window. Interesting. Yeah, so I feel like you're trying to see things from a higher perspective, right? And you're having a little bit of difficulty doing that at the moment. We had Chiron healing in reverse with Pluto transformation, and what I was picking up was that you're having difficulty truly understanding what healing really is and how to actually do your healing work. Because for you right now, it feels like you can't change. Like, no, this is me, this is who I am. I have to love me for me, you know, instead of, I mean, you want to love you for you, but there are still parts of you that you, right, that are unhealed, and you're having difficulty seeing that your unhealed parts can actually transform and heal. And Spirit did want to come out and say, you know, with Scorpio, I transform in the moon soul. The way to change and heal is through transforming the soul, transforming the spirit, transforming your emotional hold over yourself. So for a lot of you, you can, you know, look to your moon sign for the best way to emotionally navigate, right? Scorpio is the transformer, right? Pluto transformation, Scorpio, right? Pluto is Scorpio's ruling planet. We just had that Scorpio full moon on April 26th to April 27th, depending on where you live. Very, very big time, right? Scorpio is the sign of transformation, of death and rebirth, of transmutation, of taking energy X and transmuting it into energy Y, which is the alchemical process of change itself, right? That is healing. You can take your pain and transform it into pleasure, or fear into happiness, or anything, you know, anger into money, let's say, if you want to do money manifestation. So, right, it looks like you're having a little bit of difficulty of transforming, more on the healing end, okay? We had the Two of Athens came out, which is like the Two of Swords. And it was telling me that this has to do when you and another person are coming together and really putting your, you know, sword in the stoop, so to say, right? This is when two people come together and disagree about something. You know, there could be some information being hidden or whatnot. In this deck, it feels very much more just like a one-on-one conversation where it's like, okay, let's put it out all on the table. Except, even though there's this thing of like, hey, let's talk this out and let's put our weapons in the stoop, you know what I mean? So just in case it gets heated, no one's getting stabby, right? And of course, this is metaphorically, right? You're not intending your words to hurt. You're just using your throat chakra. But somebody here has the scythe, right? Which is the symbol of like death. And it's like, okay, one person is going to end the conversation. Is that going to be violent? Is that going to be, you know, whatever it may be? But I feel like this is more conversationally. And do you hear how much noise is outside, Virgo? I feel like a lot of this has to do with confrontations that get up to a point where you are yelling, you know what I mean? It's like you put or somebody is yelling, right? Like you put your weapons in the stoop, but someone kind of always has one there, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to end this. I'm going to win this sort of thing. And then we have the sun. So it looks like, you know, to see the light side, right? The bright side of the fact that we even have conflict itself. What that is, like what the higher purpose of disagreeing with someone actually is, right? And so the sun is, you know, arguably the most positive card of the deck. So this is telling me that you are headed in a good direction. You are trying to find the light, which is beautiful. The sun usually indicates, you know, enjoying the warmth and, you know, merriment and pleasure that this earthly world has to offer, right? it's rejoicing in, you know, where we get our energy from, the sun, right? Understanding this ball of energy and how we are a repercussion of it. And this can also indicate being happy with the home life, being happy with, you know, your work, and, you know, really being in your own positive ecosystem. So it looks like that's what you're trying to get to. No matter what sort of one-on-one talk you have with anyone, you want it to be pleasant. You want it to be light. And for some of you, you might be like, okay, how do I keep a conversation light anyway, Virgo? Because I know you're very serious. You are. And rightfully so, right? But anyway, so we had snow runt using icy snow in reverse. So it looks like you're trying to thaw out some ice in your emotional body, in your throat chakra. You're trying not to be cold in your communication, either that or you're trying to avoid people who are cold, right? It can go both ways, Virgo. By the way, this is for Virgo, Sun, and Rising, and Venus. But it looks like you're trying to, you know, cut out this cold energy from your emotions. And it feels like things have gone cold with certain situations in the past, and you're like, okay, I don't want to repeat that anymore. But you feel like, oh, I can't heal this. I can never change, sort of thing. And with Trevenant coming out using energy press, I do feel a lot of energy pressed around you. It's like it's densifying. It's gotten to this point where you're like, okay, energetically, like, I got to do this now. You know, like I've kind of reached this point where like I have to. I just have to. And with the duo using simultaneous peck, this is telling me that this can be two people, like two people, okay, yeah, but like having to do with two separate situations as well. For some of you, it is twin flame. The duo is one of my twin flame cards, so it's like this, as soon as you get into it, so does your twin, okay? So that's just, it's just like the energetic principle of healing. When you heal, so does your divine counterpart, so, and your twin. So yeah, Virgo, that's what came up in the cleansing ceremony. So this month, it is Taurus season, right? Happy Taurus season. I hope you're enjoying it. Slow and steady wins the race, my loves. And what we're going to do this month is take a look into where are you right now? And then we're going to take a look into what is a long-term goal of yours. And then in the extended, we're just going to see what the pathway is to get to your long-term goal. I know better than to lead a bull, right? Taurus really shows us that, you know, the best pace to go is at your own pace, and that is what I'm going to let the cards do, is go at their own pace to see how we can achieve that long-term goal. So, I am currently closed for tarot until Gemini season. I will be reopening my books, but until then, I'm doing astrology reading. So if you're interested in learning more about your natal chart or are interested in an astro forecast of the month ahead, please do feel free to reach out. All the info is in the description box below. All right, Virgo. Let's see, where are you right now? You know, I keep getting this message that it's where are you right now? Take note of where you actually are at this moment. We have Moon Soul coming out in reverse. So again, it feels like you're a little bit disconnected from the spiritual realm. It's like you might not be, you're missing the spiritual element in your life right now. You know, the moon indicates being connected to our emotional body, and it feels like by pushing away your emotional body, you are disconnecting from your own spirit. Void of course moon, right? So a void of course moon is when the moon makes its last aspect. So, you know, a major angle in relationship with another planet, or not another planet, but another celestial body, right before it changes into a new constellation, right before it changes into a new sign. So it's coming out stuck. It feels like you are missing something. It's like, I feel like you're missing somebody, but it feels like you're missing this element of the soul when you are taking into consideration what you're dealing with. Okay. I know, Virgo, that you are very practical. You know, you are an earth sign, so, and we're in Taurus season, so even more so, right? is that, you know, the fixed nature of Earth and reality is so important to take into consideration, but you also must take into consideration the spirit. And it feels like that is what is missing right now. It does feel like there is a shift, and I feel like it's because you've gotten to this point where your energy has become so pressed, where it's like, dang, I've like tried everything in the book, you know, about healing and how to heal, and you know, you've approached healing, and that's why the perspective just has been difficult, because you've been avoiding your soul. Let's see. Virgo, I mean, all of your readings have been very intense, but I can feel this one. So if you are not ready for something to get even more intense, maybe pause it and go do something else. With the Two of Wands in reverse. So Two of Wands, you know, in general, and this is not a twin flame reading, but I can't deny it when it pops up. The Two of Wands for me is when a twin flame is by themselves, okay? And so because it's in reverse, I have a feeling that you are missing your twin. You are discontent with being by yourself. Like the Two of Wands can mean someone is going on a journey. So in this card, and I feel like there are cross watchers here too, like, either you can be the one at the house saying goodbye to someone who is leaving, or you can be the one leaving having to say goodbye to someone else. There is this aspect of like discontentment with some sort of separation here. We have Frog Spirit, which is talking about, you know, metamorphosis and how quickly things can change if allowed to change. And this separation was necessary for some sort of, you know, metamorphic modification to happen within your soul and another person's soul, but you're avoiding that. We have the Four of Wands in reverse. Yeah, and sorry, this is in reverse, which I'm feeling you are discontent, but I'm feeling you're alone. Four of Wands is twin flames in union. So you're not in union with your twin, and that's because you are ignoring your soul. Plain and simple. I had a feeling this was the Four of Wands too. That is wild. So yeah, so for you, it does have a lot to do with the twin flame journey, but again, the problem is you're ignoring the spiritual implications of what this really is. It looks like you're very focused just on, you know, longing and missing them and like, oh, I wish this. You're not in union with your twin because you're not in union with your own soul. What's the light energy? Quite a bit. We have Magikarp using Epic Splash. There's also one that wanted to sit here. Okay. We're going to talk about that in a second. We had Magikarp, Epic Splash in reverse. So this is telling me this is not some sort of just splash, right? This is a big emotional deal. I feel like in the past you've tried to make it seem, this feels like it wants to be upside down too, like, or just it's like stuck. You're stuck in being a twin by yourself, constantly saying goodbye, wanting them to return, missing them. And right, like it feels like you've pretended like it wasn't a big deal, but this did create like such a shift in your emotional body here. There could have been some sort of magic done here. Wands can be, you know, used for magic and things like that. So I'm not sure if some sort of magic was done on the relationship or you've used magic here. Right, third parties. I was feeling that there was a third party in the cleansing ceremony, but anyway, it says, in the distant past, it was somewhat stronger than its horribly weak descendants that exist today. I feel like, you know, your ancestors are coming in, and it's like, it feels like because you've ignored, and I do not mean this in any sort of rude way, but because you've ignored your soul, like you've also disconnected from your ancestors. It's like you've put in so much physical work, but you've, you know, ignored like the spirit in you, you know, your connection to spirit. It's a weak connection that you have to your own soul. And again, I don't mean that in any sort of rude way, right? This is dark energy coming up. So it is showing that you're in a bit of a dark place. You know what I mean? You're more in the shadow aspect of like what the soul is. And again, we did have the sun. So I do feel like you are trying to go towards the light, but we have shadow, ooh, and simultaneously pack. Yeah. So again, this is one of the twin flame cards. So I do feel like this applies to two things. And again, for some of you, it is like confirmed a twin flame sort of thing. For those of you where it's not a twin flame, the Four of Wands can just mean coming together in union with anyone. It can be a marriage card. It can be like a business partner sort of thing. But yeah, there is a lot of dark energy within this. And it's like you're not listening to your inner voice. You've just turned it off. It says the brain and its two heads appear to communicate emotion to each other with telepathic power. Yeah, and it looks like, again, like your twin wants to communicate with you with telepathic power, right? You don't have to be in physical union with them. If you're in spiritual union, you can feel them and, you know, yeah, like you think of each other at the same time. It's a simultaneous peck. So that's the thing, like there's a lot of telepathic power, but it's in so much darkness because you've disconnected from your soul here. We have Volcarona coming out using shimmering scales. Okay, so this is telling me that, I think Aries actually got this, but there is like a volcano brewing. This is the root chakra and the heart chakra. So it's telling me there's something connected in the heart and the root of why there's a disconnection here, okay? It says, when volcanic ash darkened the atmosphere, it is said that Volcarona's fire provided a replacement for the sun. Yeah. So, yeah, the volcanic ash darkened. There has been some sort of eruption in the heart chakra and the root chakra. It happened in the heart, but it changed the root chakra, and that's your sense of safety, right? And also where your kundalini is. And again, this darkness, you know, covered the land, and I feel like something happened that caused a darkness in your life to where a fire has created, you know, is a replacement for the sun. That's a false light. So you were given some sort of false light in your life of what to go towards that was not fulfilling for your soul and brought a great darkness to your world. What's the shadow here? Okay, that wanted to come out. Buffalant using sap sipper. This is going right to the Four of Wands, and look at what are they doing. They're like, you know, making sap. They have like their candles. They have their apple juice, you know, wine and stuff. Buffalant is like Taurus, right? It's the bull. So this can be being very stubborn. This can be, you know, it's like, nope, it's just this way, right? And that's the fixed earth that I feel. You know, it's like the relationship that you have with Taurus things, which is your relationship with money, the relationship with your 5 physical senses, the relationship with the external world, housing, right? Actual physical 3D reality, as well as genetics too. Like your own DNA is fixed earth, right? Even though it's propagated through like Scorpio, right? Which is changing that. But anyway, so it's telling me some of you might be sipping on too much sap. So please be careful of that. And that is also kind of blocking out your spiritual connection, your third eye connection. And, you know, just being very stubborn of like, no, like the spirit isn't real sort of thing. Or like pushing away the soul aspect of what it takes to be in union, what it takes to be in love even. It says their fluffy fur absorbs damage, even if they strike foes with a fierce headbutt. Yeah, so not saying that like you can't withstand this. You can, right? It does feel like you are very guarded. And, you know, I felt the angels coming in here too. So even if, you know, you butt heads with someone, you're still protected. It's not like you're going to completely break down or anything. You know, you have this fierce headbutting attitude towards things. But do you always want to have to be in that sort of defensive position? Do you always want to be, you know, stuck in that fixed earth? My guess is no. Let's see. What's the long-term goal here, Virgo? Okay, going right to where you are. Leo, I will, with the 4th house roots. So you really want to be who you are, right? Leo is the sun, ruled by the sun. You want to shine. You want to have your willpower. You want to go through this darkness sort of thing. It's like, you know, Leo represents like the ego, and the ego is not good or bad, right? It just tells our story. It can be our best friend or our worst enemy, but you really want to have control over your willpower and be like, yeah, I will do this, and then actually do this, especially as it relates to like a spiritual journey, almost getting in connection with your soul. Like, Yeah, I'm going to do it. Leo, again, like, has to do with your willpower and, like your healthy sense of self, of really understanding, like, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm meant to do, and I'm going to do it. We have the 4th house coming out with roots stuck. So again, it feels like, you know, you really want to go into the root cause of issues. And, you know, we had the root chakra coming out. And again, your root chakra is your sense of safety and also where your unawakened kundalini is, right? Your creative potential that you use to manifest the reality around you. It's also what you eat, what you drink, right? Anything that you consume, your sleeping patterns, you know, sense of safety, could be relationship with money possibly, because it's a lot of this Taurus stuff too, right? And we do see the sap sipper. And Taurus is known for overindulging, so a lot of you just could really be overindulging or completely lack thereof. But anyway, so yeah, we have the 4th house roots, which is Cancer's house. Okay, so that's the divine feminine energy, the divine mother energy. It represents matriarchal forces in our life. It can indicate like relationship with our own mother, or usually the more emotionally close caregiver rather than like mother or mother figure. But it looks like that is where you want to get, is like actually understand how your emotional programming has influenced who you are, how your ego is, you know, how your willpower is enacted by you. And this is really getting to the root cause and like doing that work. Roots, you know, 4th house is also, you know, ancestral karma and ancestral trauma. So again, I do feel your ancestors here really wanting to help you overcome this, right? Because they're alive in you and they can't rest until, right, this voice is listened to heal this stuff, heal the soul. And yeah, I mean, that's a big task for sure, healing the roots of something. The 4th house is also, I mean, it's Cancer's house, like I said. So these roots are emotional roots, which are twofold. One, you know, how your caregivers and the like, mostly on the maternal end or the more emotionally close end, how did they teach you to emote, right? When you were angry, how did you behave? When you were sad, how did you behave? Were you allowed to behave, right? In order to not be punished or something, you know? And so there's that emotional root. And then there's also, you know, when you get into a new relationship, how do you emotionally root in that new relationship? What is the emotional foundation that you build with someone? And it looks like here you're in search for your twin or actual serious union, because I feel discontentment of being alone and not being in union. Let's see, what's the long-term goal? We have the Star in reverse. So interesting. I'm hearing like the long-term goal. So right now your long-term goal is actually not to be aligned. The way that you are perceiving this is not divinely aligned, and I'm feeling that it has to do with this union, because the 9 of Pentacles for me can indicate it's like you want to finish this cycle of chaser and runner, but you have to complete it in yourself. But right now what you're manifesting is for someone to chase you or for you to chase somebody. So I'm feeling that even though that is what your long-term goal is, that needs to be pushed aside already. Sorry, Virgo. But yeah, that is not aligned. That is not aligned, the runner and chaser aspect, because that's not rooted, right? If there is a chasing or a running, you can't emotionally root. But we see the Ace of Chalices here saying that actually what your long-term goal is love. You want an emotional offering. You want true love here, and that's what the Ace of Chalices represents. So you think that you want this person to chase you, or you want to chase this person. Spirit's saying, no, that is not aligned. So you need to remember what you actually want, which is love. So we're gonna just cover those up. Okay. All right, let's see what's the light energy here. Entangling control and trainer Professor Kukui. Yeah, because it looks like you know, what you were actually trying to manifest here, which I guess also you want to try to cover up the fact that you actually just wanted a runner chaser relationship. This is dark energy of wanting to control people. You know, either, you know, wanting to control someone against their will, which is, you know, magic, black magic. So yeah, this is a control issue. Or you constantly are getting in relationships where people constantly want to control you. You know, were you constantly controlled by your caregivers? You know what I mean? What sort of shadow energy are you repeating here? Because it does look like that's what you're trying to do. We have trainer Professor Kukui, and, you know, trainer indicates another person, and I am getting that, you know, maybe you've had a professional tell you this already, you know, that it's a control issue, but you just really don't see it as a control issue. Again, it has to do with the spiritual aspect that is missing of this journey. It does feel like, you know, there could be some sort of professional that's like, oh, look, I have the answer here in my pocket. And I kind of feel like that's how you're judging me right now too, Virgo. And that's okay. You can feel free to judge me all you want. But yeah, that is controlling. Okay. Let's see what the light is of the love that you actually want. We have Scorpio using pin missile. So it looks like, you know, you want the undying, devoted love of the Scorpio. You want love that can transform you. And that's what all that Scorpio and Pluto energy that we saw in the cleansing ceremony, that's what you actually want. You want love to change you. Okay? It says it burrows under the sand to lie in wait for prey. Its tail claws can inject its prey with a savage poison. But the kind of love that you think changes you is actually poison. You know, you can't have, like, no one can just come and inject you with love that's going to change you. You have to do that for yourself. It's a self-transformation that you have to go to, because we see that you're just waiting for this to come to you. Let's see what's in the shadow here. We have Relicanth using takedown. So this is telling me, you know, you want to bring down the emotions about this. You know, like, again, it feels like with this runner chaser energy, it's like you want to bring it, like, how do I want to put this? The way that you win is by taking someone else down and being like, yes, I'm more powerful than you and you are under my control now. Okay? Either that or you want that to happen to you. You want an emotional takedown. And, you know, Relicanth is like a bottom dweller, like very ancient. And it feels like what you're actually addicted to in some way is getting your emotions just like yanked into the bottom of the ocean to like feel very deeply. And I do feel like that's what you actually want, is to feel deeply and to feel changed by love. But the way that that love was emotionally programmed in you is actually poisoning you right now, because it's just keeping you as like a bottom dweller, you know, like, and maybe some of you have Scorpio placements, and like as a Scorpio, I will let you know that, you know, or maybe you're an 8th house sun, but Scorpio placements, they become addicted to their deepest emotions, even if they are the worst emotions that they've felt. Okay. That can be depression, that can be anger, or whatever it may be. You know, Scorpio placements and Scorpios can really get stuck there. So it's possible that, you know, that is what you were taught love is just the depth of it. And that's who you think you are, is just like feeling really deep, bad emotions about control games in love. You know, this runner chaser type thing. And it's time to take this down. It's time to, like, we need to knock this tower down, basically. And, you know, because what you do actually want is just pure love. We see what's popping up is just kind of like all of these, you know, conditions that you put on love, you know. It says a rare Pokemon discovered during a deep sea exploration. It has not changed in over 100 million years. Yeah, Virgo, this is something that has not changed in a million years, 100 million years. We all want love. We want love. We want love that is transformative and that will change us, right? But first we have to unlearn to not love unhealthy emotional relationships, right? We have to align our own spirit. And I just felt a lot of fear come through. So that is what I feel is stopping you, is a lot of fear that's here. We saw a lot of, you know, darker energy here. Let's see. I'm getting to pull from the Black Mirror first. This can help you with your shadow work. Like I said in the extended, we'll see how to get there, but let's see what Black Mirror. We have Bride in a Cage in reverse. Yeah. You know, love does not do that, right? It's not this runner chaser energy and then taking the bride and keeping them in a cage, right? Which is like masculine energy, you know, being like, this is mine, but she's in a cage, right? And it's the bride, so she's probably a virgin or some weird thing like that, right? It's like this total want of ownership. I own everything about you. You are mine, and that's it. And it looks like you need to make sure that, you know, remind you that that's not what love is. It's not this sense of ownership like Taurus teaches. You know, it's, you know, Taurus teaches us many lessons, but it's not unconditional love in that way, right? That's the Pisces energy, because Spirit's really saying it is not aligned to want this runner chaser sort of nonsense. It just holds you hostage, or it holds somebody else hostage. That's not love. And maybe that's what, you know, in your 4th house, that's what love was taught to you as. That's what you observed your caregivers of, like, oh, just never leaving, never being able to leave is love. No, no. Freedom. Freedom is love. Okay, let's see. Okay, a lot, Virgo. I can see that there's a lot coming. We have surrender to the divine. You and your loved ones are safe. And that is Cancerian energy. A fiery climax approaches. Nothing will come of this situation. A new romantic cycle begins, and conclusions are without reach. So this is really telling me that, you know, there is going to be a conclusion, okay? And the conclusion is that nothing's coming out of this, and you are ready to bring in a new romantic cycle that is actually going to bring you new love. But first, you need to be able to surrender to the divine here with the full moon. And I'm feeling that, you know, you were asked to do this around the Scorpio full moon as well. And you and your loved ones are safe, okay? And that's what you need to do, is remember that you are safe. You know, get rid of that fear. Any sort of, you know, Cancerian 4th house emotional rooting that taught you that you are unsafe in any sort of way. You need to be able to let that go, okay? I'm going to pull an archangel for you to go into the extended, because I was feeling the angels were coming in. Please do remember that you need to call the angels in. They respect your free will. So if you don't call them in, they can't help. Let's see what angel would like to bring us into the extended. Okay, we have 2. We have crystal clear intentions. Archangel Michael, be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. Yeah, so what is it that you love? Something that is, you know, emotionally abusive, if I can say, Virgo. And again, I don't mean that to be rude, but, you know, do you want this runner chaser unaligned energy? Is that your intention? Or is your intention actually true love? If that's what you want to manifest in, all you have to do is say, I want my true love. I want my true love. That true love does not have a name. That true love does not have a face. Those expectations of trying to manifest something against its will. We have indigo and crystal children in reverse. So for some of you, could be children involved in this situation. But it says, this is Archangel Metatron. You have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. And I feel like you might have something against children right now, or like feeling like, you know, they shouldn't be being born or like coming in or anything. And it has to do with your own inner child wounds as it relates to the 4th house. So just letting you know, there's a lot of stuff coming out here, Virgo. Let us head into the extended if you should so choose. Yeah, the link is in the description box below. And if we part ways here, good luck with the situation. I'm sending you so much love, a big hug, and a kiss on your 3rd eye. Mwah.